This lesson is about dividing integers. First, we're going to start with the review exercises. The directions state, solve each of the following. Go ahead and try the problems on your own. So go ahead and pause the video. And then go ahead and place to check your answer. So go ahead and pause. Okay, number 1, 10 plus a negative 6. So I'm going to subtract the two numbers. 10 minus 6 is 4. Take the sign of the bigger number, which is 10, so it's going to be a positive 4. 8 minus 14, I'm subtracting, so I'm going to do click, click. So I have 8 plus a negative 14. So I'm going to subtract 14 minus 8 is 6. Take the sign of the bigger number, which is 14, which is negative. Number 3, negative 11 minus a negative 1. Since I'm subtracting, I'm going to do click, 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 click. So I have negative 11 plus 1. So I'm going to subtract the two numbers. 11 minus 1 is 10. Take the sign of the bigger number, which is 11. So my answer is a negative 10. Number 4, negative 8 times a negative 2. That's going to be a positive 16. A negative times a negative is a positive. Number 5, 8 times a negative 5. It's going to be a negative 40. A positive times a negative is a negative. And the last problem, number 6, 7 minus a negative 4. I'm subtracting, so I'm going to do click, 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 click. So that's 7 plus 4, which is 11. These rules for dividing integers are the same as when you multiply them. So for the first two problems, if you're dividing by two negative or two positive numbers, then your answer is going to be positive. Okay, so number 1, negative 12 divided by a negative 2 is going to be a positive 6 because we're dividing by two negative numbers. 14 divided by 7, which is the same as writing it like this, 14 over 7, is going to be 2, a positive 2. Now what happens when we divide by one negative number and one positive number? Well, then our answer is going to end up being negative, similarly to multiplication. So if we have 20 divided by a negative 4, that's going to equal a negative 5. And number 4, negative 18 divided by 3 is going to be a negative 6. Now let's look at when we're dividing with the number 0 involved. Well, if the 0 is on the top, then your answer is going to equal 0. If the 0 is on the bottom, that's not possible to divide by 0, so that answer is going to be considered as undefined. So for number 4, if you have 20 divided by 0, well, that's not possible. So we say that's undefined. Zero divided by 3, which can also be written like this. If the 0 is on the top of the fraction, 0 divided by 3 is 0. So 0 divided by any number will always be 0. And if you have any number divided by 0, that's going to be undefined.